So now for our technology focused session, modular technologies for existing stores. The goal of this session is to highlight modular natural refrigerant technologies that could either replace parts of an existing system or be added to a system during some sort of an expansion. Our speakers today are Tommaso Scavone, the sales manager for the North American region for Rivacold America, and Jørn Aalefjær, the business development director for North Americas with Viessmann Refrigeration Solutions. I am going to go ahead and hand things over to Tommaso with that to share a little bit about what's going on at Rivacold.
Thank you, Morgan. While I pull up my screen. Okay. Okay, so I will be presenting today Rivacold Solutions divided in 3 chapters. So a quick introduction about our company, and then the following 2 I'll be presenting the natural refrigerant solutions that we are offering on the market as modular technologies for existing stores. Rivacold is a leading manufacturing company in the commercial and industrial refrigeration, established in 1966 in a small town near Pesaro. It is located on the Adriatic coast in the center-east of Italy. We have today over 1,700 employees, $350 million turnover, 1.8 million square feet manufacturing and stocking area. We have our own metal sheet division and our own coil divisions that satisfy 100% of our internal needs, besides offering us flexibility in terms of customization and also full control quality over these components. We produce more than 300,000 refrigeration systems and more than 700,000 heat exchangers per year. 2008 was the year when we first launched our first R290 package system on the market, and 2011 instead the first transcritical CO2 condensing unit. 2019 was also a very important year, as our labs were inaugurated and are today one of the most advanced refrigeration R&D centers in the world. Rivacold America also was inaugurated in 2019 in Beaufort, Georgia. That is northeast of Atlanta, where we have today 75,000 square feet facility and producing about 200 units per day on 5 different production lines for small open type condensing units, seal systems, and the large monoblocks for walk-ins. Second chapter, I will give you an introduction of our transcritical CO2 condensing unit line, how it can be used as a modular refrigeration, and the benefits it provides for installers and end users. Connext, or CO2 Next, is the name of our transcritical CO2 condensing unit line that we are offering also as a complete split system. The standalone condensing unit, or CN range, is perfect for adding refrigeration models to existing stores, as a single condensing unit can be connected up to 5 different applications, such as a lineup of wall display cabinets, islands, regions, or any other merchandiser. It's completely weatherproof, so it can be installed outdoors on the roof or also on the side of the building, but also extremely silent, so allowing indoor installations if required, thanks to the reduced noise levels. For walk-ins instead, we are offering the complete split system, or the SN range, that comes as an all-in-one package ready to be installed and giving big advantages in terms of cost and time saving to both the end user and the installer. This solution is perfect when you are adding a new walk-in to an existing store, obviously in case of retrofitting an old HFC system, but especially convenient when you want to keep the walk-ins independent from a central remote system, so allowing modularity, flexibility, and also redundancy in case of failures. The split system package includes the condensing unit, perfectly sized evaporator already fitted with probes and electronic expansion valve, the front room control panel, and also the cable kits that are provided for the power supply and the communication between condensing unit and evaporator. And we also offer these in different lengths that can be selected by the customer according to the specific installation requirements. On this slide, we're highlighting the main advantages from the end user side. The range fits BLDC compressors driven by inverter. They bring to a continuous modulation of the capacity from 25 to 100% modulation, avoiding those dangerous peaks of temperature when you have that you have with an on-off system. This allows a perfect food preservation, so better quality of the food itself, and also much less food waste. The same modulation, together with other highly efficient components in the system, bring important energy savings to the end user, up to 25% compared to an on-off 4-4 system, and 50% against a CO2 system with semi-hermetic compressors plus inverter. The circuit has been integrated with several safety components and important alarms and controls to ensure the cooling process doesn't ever interrupt, and guaranteeing that way high reliability to the customer. Noise levels are very low thanks to the high quality EC fans and the soundproofing material used in the housing of the unit, but also thanks to the numerous tests done in our labs that allowed to find and eliminate all of the vibrations. From the installer side instead, we have up to 33% time and cost saving compared to a standard installation, thanks to several factors. So first of all, the fast connections between evaporator, control panel, and condensing unit that are those cable kits that I mentioned previously, but also to the thermostatic valve and the probes that are already fitted to the evaporator, saving both the sizing and the brazing time on the TXV, and the wiring process for the probe. So plus the front room control panel comes already preset from the factory. We are practically reducing the installation time only to the copper piping and the equipment placement. All installation and commissioning main steps are resumed in a quick start guide manual of 16 easy steps that we provide with each unit, and is also viewable by a QR code that we print on each unit, and you're able to pull up, as I said, this important documentation, but also startup videos that are online. The installer can also point on high reliability of the system and less time on site, thanks to the IoT system that is offered, that practically allows to completely control the system from remote and to prevent alarms. An overview of the range, 4 models for medium temp, 3 for low temp, capacities up to about 35,000 BTUs or 10,000 square foot area, to give you an idea. This is for medium temp, and about 22,000 BTUs for low temp, or a 6,500 square foot area. And this is at standard conditions of 90F ambient temperature, room temperature of 35F for the medium temperature boxes, and minus 10F for the low temp. All of these models are UL listed. We have NSF approved evaporators and are AWEF compliant. Concluding on this range of speed systems, this is confirmed technology. We have been installing these systems in Europe for more than 5 years now, and have today about more than 1,000 installations. We do already have a few installations also here in the US, and they are working very well in different climates. Moving on to the propane package systems, we have 2 different lines that we are offering. The SF, this is specifically designed for a closed water loop installation, and the BE line, that is our brand new air-cooled system. Both of them are for indoor applications and rooftop installation. So this is our new air-cooled R290 package system called BEST, that stands for Block System, Ecological, Smart, and Technological. In fact, we completely redesigned our historical rooftop monoblock with cutting-edge technology and the target to offer on the market the most advanced product in terms of energy efficiency that we will analyze deeply in the following slides. Eco-sustainability, the use of a natural refrigerant, propane in this case, that has a GWP equal to 3. And also, if used in an efficient system, as the one we developed for this monoblock, reduces both direct and indirect emissions, protecting our environment. So we calculated a reduction of the TEWI, or total equivalent warming impact, up to 41% reduction. Quality and reliability, thanks to our labs, we are able to test and improve every single detail. And the new electronic heart developed entirely by Rivacold that allows several automatic alarms and controls to prevent in time eventual failures or malfunctions of the units. And finally, easy fix, that includes all of those benefits to make installers and end users' life a little bit easier in terms of installation, control, and service. The circuit of this monoblock has been completely revised. So with the target of maximizing the COP, practically increasing the cooling capacity, and at the same time lowering energy consumption in all working conditions. The range fits BLDC variable speed compressors of the latest generation that allow energy savings up to 15% compared to our previous R290 monoblock system, and up to 40% compared to a 4-4 package system. The electronic thermostatic valve is fitted as standard on all models, allows the evaporator to be powered correctly in all operating conditions, and combined with the pressure probe and the new management of the evaporator fans, it reduces the pull down cycle of about 50%, so ensuring significant energy saving during this phase. The electronic expansion valve also allows to extend the operation of our monoblock from ambient temperatures up to 110 F to a minimum of 40 F, so bringing lower consumption when closer to these critical conditions. The new electronic fan motors fitted as standard again on both evaporator and condenser side, besides leading to important energy consumption savings, have also a low noise impact and are positioned in a position to guarantee a greater airflow and a fast air distribution, improving the overall performance of the unit. Regarding the coils, thanks to a sophisticated simulation software and extensive tests, we're able to define the best geometry and piping circuit to maximize the performance of the condenser, where we are adopting a 5mm rifle tube and a 5/16 rifle tube on the evaporator. So very small tubes, but with increased transfer surface thanks to the rifle technology. Less volume, reduced charge, and increased heat exchange, therefore better product efficiency in general. Also, the new Revolution electronics and the new software developed entirely by Rivacold guarantee efficiency and also reliability and management flexibility. Again, ensuring perfect food preservation, easy control, and safety prevention. The smart defrost function has the ability to automatically manage the defrost cycles, timing, and duration, avoiding those dangerous ice formation on the evaporator and thus guaranteeing optimal circuit operation. Practically, it works with an algorithm based on the information recorded by the temperature probes, pressure probes, and number of door openings. It adjusts automatically until he doesn't perform the perfect defrost cycle in terms of timing and duration according to that specific installation. As you know, each installation might have its own diversity. So like a number of door openings, different air humidity based on the location, or different products inside the room and other factors. The leak detector is a function dedicated to each circuit through pressure probes that when they detect low pressure, they send a first alarm that suggests you to go check on the monoblock, for example, if it has all fans running, or if there's any ice formation on the evaporator, but it keeps the unit still running. If no action is taken and the pressure keeps on lowering, in that case, the circuit involved will automatically shut off, sending a second alarm, while the other circuits will keep on running. So this is very important to preserve the life of the compressor and other critical components involved. HACCP ready. The temperature is monitored, recorded, and saved by our controller every 15 minutes and up to 72 hours. Also, the performance and the pressures of each component, plus all of the alarms, are recorded and saved for 72 hours. This is a standard feature of our controller. But if instead you are using an IoT system, the recording time has obviously no limits. The control also offers a predisposition for to connect external units to manage humidity control or and the neutral zone, so hot, cold, neutral zone. The structure has been designed to guarantee easy access in case of service. The panels can be removed very quickly, and already with a few simple operations, it's possible to access all of the main components of the circuit. The insulation gap predisposition for the working panel thickness has been increased up to 8 inches from a minimum of 3, and it is adjustable, allowing flexibility of the same unit for all type of installations. So we know that the panel manufacturers now have increased the thickness of the panels to increase the efficiency of the walk-in itself, reducing the loads of the refrigeration system. So practically you are able to lower or increase the gap of the, maybe if I can use my my laser here, I can show. So this right here is the gap that I'm talking about, that practically adjusts according to the thickness of the panel. So if you have a thicker panel, you can extend, or if you have a smaller panel, it will be shorter and down to 3 inches. The air intakes also have been modified for increasing the airflow necessary to cool down the condenser and improving the efficiency and allowing to reduce, even in this case, down to 7 inches, the minimal distance from the store ceiling, or down to 15 inches from the eventual rear wall behind the unit. So these monoblocks can be installed also in very tight spaces, but still performing well. All units are supplied with power cord, and the single phase version is also with the plug. Another huge benefit of this product is maximizing the storage space. So thanks to the deflector inside the room that is less than 5 inches high, as you can see. In fact, the evaporator is outside of the walk-in, and that doesn't take out any space at all from the walk-in itself. So you can increase the storage space, adding more shelves compared to having a cubic evaporator inside the walk-in. We do offer, so yeah, besides obviously increasing the storage space, not having the evaporator directly inside the walk-in also reduces the formation of ice on the coil, and you have a much more quiet environment inside the walk-in. So very, very, very quiet. Integrated dissipation pan, so you don't have the need of installing a drain line for the evaporator condensate, as we have a pan inside the monoblock where the discharge line goes through as a serpentine, evaporating that condensate. All of the monoblock is controlled via app that we will see in the following slide. So with the new Rivacold app, you are able to connect via Bluetooth to all of your installations. You can visualize all of the settings, the pressures, the temperatures, and the status of the unit. So if it's on, off, if it's in the cooling phase or defrost phase. The monoblock controller is mirrored to your smartphone, so you can also control all of the set points. You can turn on the light room. You can set a manual defrost and a lot of other functions. So you have also the possibility to create your own personalized drafts with the information of your interest and visualize them in real time, or you can see them by logs. So as previously mentioned, all of the information is recorded every 15 seconds for up to 72 hours. The monoblock has a Modbus connectivity system for integration with any customer-side supervision. A fantastic feature, I think, is also the parameter personalization. So you can save your personalized configuration and easily apply it to any other monoblocks you have on the same location, or also in other stores, simply by sharing this configuration by email, WhatsApp, or any other SMS method. Again, we provide a QR code on each unit that you are able to pull up all of the manuals, startup videos, and any other helpful documentation. Here I'm sharing the existing range that is basically built around 3 models for medium temp and 3 models for low temp, but with different voltages. So the smallest models are 115 single phase 60 hertz, and all of the other models are 220 single phase 60 hertz, and the larger models are also 230 single phase 60 hertz. We build these models with multiple circuits, using 1, 2, and 3 circuits inside the same monoblock. So this allows us to increase the capacity, but still respecting the current gas charge limit of 150 grams of propane each circuit. As standard conditions, with the larger models, we achieve about 15,000 BTUs in medium temp and 9,000 BTUs in low temperature. Plus, I would like to remind that these monoblocks have a controller or provided with a master controller that allow to control up to other 5 auxiliaries units on the same walk-in. So from a single display, so you can have a total of 6 units on the same walk-in controlled by a single display. This product is going through UL certifications the next month, NSF on the evaporators, and everything will be approved by the end of this year. First prototypes or pre-series will be launched on the market by February 2023, and mass production will take place in March. Quick overview also of the water loop system. It's a package system designed specifically for water loops condensation. So offers most of the previous benefits discussed for the BE line. We have 2 main models, one for medium temp, one for low temp, that achieve respectively up to 14,000 BTUs and 10,000 BTUs. Besides, compared to the air-cooled version, in this case, you have the possibility of heat recovery. The water is not going waste as a standard water condensation monoblock, but being designed for a water loop system, you can recycle the water. Plus, in cases where you have to reduce the heat in the stores, you don't have any heat dispersion of the condensate heat dispersion inside the store with this type of monoblock. These monoblocks we have been selling already on the market since 2020. We have some very important installations both on the East Coast and West Coast, and are available today with all of the certifications for North America. We have full catalogs of the products that I discussed about today, so please don't hesitate to contact us for any further information. Thank you everybody for your attention.
Thank you so much, Tommaso. That was great. We have a few minutes for questions here. So just as a reminder to the folks on the line, if you have any questions, please enter them into the Q&A box. So the first question for you, Tommaso, is what is the ambient range of the CO2 units?
So those are designed up to 105 F ambient temperature, but can obviously, I mean, they can also work in higher ambient temperatures, but the efficiency of the unit will reduce in that case. It can still work to about let's say 110, 115, but the efficiency of the product in that case is going to be much less. So at that point, we will need to consider some other features for that particular application.
Okay, great. And next question is, does your warranty require certification or training on your equipment? And do you offer technician training or certification on the technologies and controls that you reviewed?
So no, the first question, the warranty does not. We don't have any specific requirements for that. And yes, to the second question, we do offer training, in-person training, on-site training. We follow. We were very happy to follow first installations and be on site for the startup. Also, we do offer this service.
Okay, great. And where could folks go if they wanted to find out more about the training opportunities, or who could they contact?
They can contact me directly, please.
Okay, wonderful.
Yeah.
Next question is, does the Rivacold system have onboard energy monitoring?
And what type of energy monitoring? I mean, the split system is provided with an IoT kit. So through that, you will be able to monitor any type of information that you want from the system. The package system, the BE line, also has the smart controller. So you are able to monitor a lot of information in real time, saved on the same controller up to 72 hours. But as I mentioned, has a predisposition for supervision also, and you will be able to access any type of information required.
Okay, thank you.
I'm not sure if I answered correctly the question, but in case, please contact me directly, and I'll be happy to provide further information.
Perfect. Thank you so much. One other question is, all of these technologies are obviously a great option for some sort of modular transition of a grocery store. Could you talk through a little bit about what that process would look like, say for, you mentioned that a CO2 split system could be good for adding a new walk-in. What about taking one off of the HFC rack? What would that look like?
Again, that's a perfect case. So we have been discussing several projects of supermarkets that are trying to reduce the dependency from one single unit. And also they want to have more independent units. So for example, a walk-in, if you think about it, if everything's tied up to the same multi-compressor rack, if something goes wrong, you might have a lack. Instead of the walk-ins are independent from that system, you will be able to transfer all of the high quality products that are very expensive into the walk-in that is independently running from a condensing unit or a split system. And also when you want to maybe have a store expansion, so you're adding a few wall display cabinets or islands, you can just simply add a condensing unit that, as I mentioned, can handle up to 5 different evaporators, or also a walk-in. If you're building a new walk-in, you'll be able to just add a split system. It's a very, very quick installation. And flexible.
Great. Wonderful. Well, really appreciate you sharing this information. And again, folks on the line, I would encourage you to reach out to Tommaso with additional questions. You can also visit Rivacold's booth to read some of their materials. So with that, I want to go ahead and transfer things over to Jørn Aalefjær with Viessmann Refrigeration Solutions. So Jørn, if you want to pull your slides up.
I'll do my best. So how does it look?
We're seeing the wrong display. If you hit swap displays in the top left corner. right above on the presentation view, to the left,
Let's see here.
or you can just share your other screen. Yeah. Still seeing presentation mode. So there we go.
Here we go. Okay, good. Sorry, little technical
No
difficulties.
problem.
That's right. Okay, thank you very much for allowing me to speak. What I'm going to present now is kind of how we connect the different products into a new system. Or it's not a new system, we use existing technology in maybe in a new context. We cooperate with a lot of product manufacturer, among them Rivacold. We use a lot of their really great products into our systems. So I think it's a good opportunity to show how we can do that. So I'm going to tell a little bit about Viessmann Refrigeration Solutions. We are new to the market here in the US and North America. I'm the first one on the ground here, so I have to tell a little bit about that. Then I will talk about EasyCool Green, our I290 heat pump concept for commercial refrigeration. And any questions after that, I'll be answering as good as I can. So the keynote speaker, he told us that, you know, some of the 2,000 companies had joined one of the most environmental ambitious programs. We are one of them. We are a 105-year-old family business. What you see here in the middle of the slide is Martin Viessmann. He is the father of the current owner and CEO, Max Viessmann here. And environmental friendly solutions and helping the world to become a better place is one of our key ambitions, driven by Max from the top down. We are 3 divisions. Climate solutions is the historical part of it. That's residential heating mostly. Refrigeration solutions, which I belong to, and investment to does a lot of it helps and facilitates our M&A activities, but also supports a lot of startup programs throughout the world. So I told you we are really an environmental oriented company. We have a mission which is called Safe and Just Space for Humanity, creating living spaces for generations to come. Very ambitious. However, it needs to be, because our legacy is that Viessmann was created on oil and gas-based boilers, and we are now converting the whole company into natural refrigerants and heat pump-based knowledge. And we are aligned with science. We have a global strategy and we have a whole value chains. And before I go into, I just want to see here, science-based targets was mentioned by the keynote speaker here in the first session. We are part of those 2,000 companies. We started to join in 2019 and plan to be net zero on scope 1, 2, and 3, which you can see down here, in 2050. And so far, we actually have done quite a lot. We have a 17.8 reduction in scope 1 and 2, which is direct and admitted. And then on scope 3, we have 15.6. So we are well on the way. Just have to say that because the keynote speaker mentioned this. And at the point when I was talking here in America, they said that Viessmann doesn't walk the talk. I claim we do. And I'm going to talk more about this. EasyCool Green. EasyCool Green is a system where we use heat pumps to generate both heat and cold. And we go from refrigeration towards climatization for supermarket stores and convenience stores. That doesn't mean we don't believe in CO2 direct expansion or CO2 systems, which is the main focus so far. We have more than 1,000 installations where we have done that in Europe. It's just that we found that this solution is a better alternative than, for example, water loop, and it's for a certain size of stores in the market. What does it mean? Well, EasyCool, what's in the name? It means energy saving system for cooling applications, and green means that it's based on natural refrigerants only. What is it? Well, it is a sustainable and energy efficient system. We make cooling refrigerate over cabinets and cold rooms, both MT and LT. We combine that with heating of buildings and air conditioning of buildings and stores. And this is focused on food, retail, and convenience stores. How do we do it? Well, we generate cold and warm brine with our Tecto EC Pro units, which is our R290 based heat pumps. We do that towards our display cases and walk-in freezers and coolers. We combine that with CO2 hybrid system for doing the low T part, which, for example, one of the ones that my colleague from Rivacold showed in the last presentation. So what is it? Well, we heard a lot about products the last 2 days, and we will continue to hear about products. So this is putting it into a system which has not been presented yet. So I'm happy to do so. Of course, we have our heat pumps. I will revert to that. We have heat exchangers for heating. We can reclaim the heat in many different ways. One is the typical heat exchanger, like here. We have display casings, multi-decks, freezer islands, multi-deck freezers. We have our walk-in freezer and coolers that we call Tectocells, R290 chiller or heat pumps that can add or to the climatization. And of course, we have CO2 hybrid systems that we also facilitate into it. I'll revert more to how it works in different periods of the year. However, this is basically how it works. We have heat pumps. We can parallel them to create the heat, the needed efficiency, the needed output we need. We create, we take away, and we create cold brine. We have CO2 or condensing unit or something that can make low temperature, as you see here. We take the heat, we convert it, we can use the heat to whatever you want. We can do heat floor, floor heating. We can convert it into the building central heating system. We can store it. There is absolutely no limit to how we can do it, just as long as we can convert the energy somehow. The heat pumps, Tecto EC Pro units. We make basically two versions of it. It's an EC Pro, which is 2 × 12 kilowatts unit, which is 32 horsepower. So we need 2 heat pumps to make this into a system. That means there is one module that has 2 × 12 kilowatts heat pumps. That's a cooling capacity of 24 kilowatts and a heating capacity of 34 kilowatts. And then there is one standalone, which we can combine for bigger in parallel, which is 24 kilowatt or 32 horsepower alone. As you will see, they have the same size. Of interest to this audience, I'm quite sure the refrigerant charge. So as you see, it's approximately 5 pounds per heat pump. That, of course, exceeds the indoor limitations here in the US. And it's going to be interesting to see what will be eventually the outdoor charging limit and how that's going to be applied. But of course, this is exceeding the current indoor limitation. So these heat pumps are made for outdoor placement. It's the same thing in Europe. It is exceeding the indoor charging limit. So all of them are outdoor placement only at this point. The store formats we are supporting mainly is small stores, what we call forecourts, convenience stores, small discounters, small and medium. You see here we go up to we parallel them upwards. Medium stores, big discounters, supermarkets, and medium large stores, which gives a capacity up to 96 kilowatts in cooling and 136 kilowatts in heating. There's actually no theoretical or limitation. We can parallel more than we do here, but the price difference adds up there. So in essence, this has been where we have found our sweet spots in installations. However, we can do whatever and how many you want. There's no real limitations to how we can do this. So summer mode. remember I said that we can use the heat in whatever way. So to simplify in this, I kind of boil it down to putting into the heating system and climatization of the store. So typical summer mode, it's 1100 hours per year where the temperature is more than 68 degrees Fahrenheit. So basically then it runs like this. You have the heat pumps, goes in the dry cooler mode, creates the brine. You have this CO2 hybrid or condensing units to create the low temperature, and it goes on a dry cooler mode. For air conditioning, you have additional heat pumps or using this one to create the climatization of the store. It goes without saying that there's no really energy saving in this mode. This is where we are least efficient. We need to be able to use the heat somehow. To dissipate it into the air doesn't give the savings you're looking for. So in let's say the temperature, the areas of the year where it's between 45 to 68 degrees Fahrenheit, that's approximately 4,500 hours per year. Here we start using the heat. You don't use the heat pumps in dry cooler mode. Here I just put in, we use it for heating the floors. We can do additional thing. We can put in connected to also the normal climatization, air-based climatization for the store or the building. Again, any other way you want to use the heat, we can comply. Winter mode. This is where we are at our best. So as you see here, it's the same thing here. The heat pump, we are pure heat pump mode on the heat pumps. Using the system as I described. We use the heat into the stores in any way we need see fit. And of course, we can use aircon if needed and dissipate the heat out. It doesn't really make sense here. This is the real winter mode where you can add, if there's not enough heat, you can add another heat pump just for heating the stores. Experiences so far. So when I joined Viessmann, this has been already piloted and received some large attention. At that point, we actually used 410 based heat pumps because we didn't have the R290 heat pumps developed. So our first installation was based on standardized 410 heat pumps. And they're still out there. But with our R290 heat pumps, we have designed them so it's of course in these temperature zones, which hits where the people are quite nicely for us and our markets. And we see 10 to 27% reduced energy year over year consumption compared to CO2 direct expansion systems in comparable stores and environments. It's always difficult when you compare systems because you can't put one store next to another, but most of our customers have they're not next to each other. So there is a difference in timing, in temperature, and how they operate. So we have to have a lot of install base to actually see. What we do see is that there is a clear energy reduction by using these systems. And I put up 10 to 27%. We have installation which even exceeds that. And 10 is actually the lowest one we have seen. So we are trying to be very conservative in our claims here, but we have very good results in the system. What I can say is that it's not just putting the system in. Our experience show that you need to be able to program it and optimize it. So what is the difference when you have a brine system towards a normal display case? Well, you add a circulation pump to all the units because you need to circulate it. You need to circulate the route amount of brine. And there is a way to do this, which it's a knowledge we have been able to achieve year over year. But of course, the first installations were kind of troublesome. Right now, they are running, I would say, and I will be bold statement, that they are earning above our expectations, and we have a lot of interest in this. And just to showcase our interest, we have 10 installations that are currently operational with our R290 heat pumps. Why don't we have more when we have a backlog of 50 installations? Well, the thing is that there is a supply chain issue right now. We struggle to supply enough of the heat pumps. The heat pumps applications right now is very much going into, since Europe is converting from gas to heat pumps, electrical heating and climatizations, we are a bit back in the line. But we have a lot of interest from the customers with the pilot installations. They are looking to finding and trying to find a rollout plan. They also have identified their sweet spot for the stores. It is clearly at discounters, small supermarkets, where we so far have been most successful. We are working for convenience stores right now. We do see that in some convenience stores, our heat pump is slightly too big. So we are looking into how we now can optimize our system for convenience stores. So key benefits, R290. I know that this is something that needs to be totally clarified in this country. There's indoor charging limit and the outdoor charging limit, I would say, is not 100% clear how it's going to be handled. Since we haven't heard, the heat pump is a very small circuit, we use 90 to 95% less refrigerant than we would do in a direct expansion system. We now see here that up to 25% lower energy consumption. I was a bit bolder in my previous slides because we see that that's quite conservative. Our heat pumps are industrial manufactured. It means it's not tailor-made. It's a serial made heat pump. So we have the economy of scale advantage in this concept. I would also add that we can use and interface more or less any other suppliers for condensing units or CO2 hybrid systems or whatever you do. We have an interface systems which allows us to talk to more or less any controller on the market right now. Temperature stability and robust operation is really good. Service and maintenance requirements is very easy. The heat pumps are easy to maintain. They're outside. It's easy accessible. There's only, basically the pump in the display cases, and we have a simple CO2 system to be added on. We do also provide and see that the energy management part, total energy solutions. We are developing a software and a tool where we can document and make it easy for the retailer to use and make sure he understands how the system works and optimize it. What is this system? How is it better towards the CO2 and a water loop system? I wouldn't say that anything is better because it's difficult to understand. We, as I said, more than 1,000 CO2 direct expansion systems installations in Europe from Viessmann. We do believe and is a firm believer in CO2. However, we don't believe that CO2 is the right, CO2DX is the right solutions for all applications. We think R290 has a really good and important role in the future and in the natural refrigerant world. Compared to water loop, I mean, the sound levels are totally different. Small, no compressors in the store. Everything outside the store, just Brian rotating. Yeah, there's a lot of pros in these systems, and we see a lot of interest in it. And yeah, that was it. 20 minutes. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Jørn. We have time for a few questions here. I think the first question is, can you talk a little bit about what it would look like to add the the technology onto an existing store in a remodel or an expansion? Have any of the 10 installations been in an existing facility?
Yes. So we have done a lot of remodeling into existing facilities. As I said, in Europe, we are basically allowed, when you do a total remodeling, to close the stores for a couple of days. That's a difference from here. We can use, and it's quite easy to use, that we can do this step by step. You know, we can take away some, replace it, and do it step by step. I mean, installation is easy. It's Brian that controls. It's not copper piping we have to do. So installation is quite easy. We cannot. We also try to remodify display cases with different heater changer and the pump. That has not been the best success, I would say. It's easier when we replace the whole thing with a display case, which is really optimized for the EasyCool solution. So you can do it step by step. We have to plan it, but as long as it's, you know, it's the piping is for Brian, everything is much easier than if you do the copper piping.
Got it. And so you would run the piping first. Is that how it would work?
Yeah, we would run the piping. We would make sure everything was ready, and then during the night or closing hours, we would start replacing the systems that want to take out the display cases, put in the new one, and charge. And also we can do, as it's a heat pump, we can put the heat pump in place outside. We can run it as a dummy, make sure it works. So basically everything is done. There is clearly a programming and optimization period that needs to be done. So we see that, and we are learning that as we go along. So it can be done. It just needs planning.
That sounds, that's the theme with existing stores, as we covered in this morning's session. Thanks for that. Yeah. The next question is about various requirements within the US market, asking if the display cases and walk-in products meet the US DOE energy rules and regulations for maximum daily energy use, is the first part of the question.
Yeah, so right now our display case is not on the market. So I'm presenting this as, I hope they will be soon, of course, that's why I'm here. And of course, then they will be compliant. But right now, it's not our display cases. But we can, as I said, we can connect this system to any existing display case from other manufacturer partners, as long as they're Brian compliant.
Got it. So it's in progress.
Yes.
Great. And then I assume the same is true for the second part of the question, asking about the UL listing and the NSF listing. Is that also in progress? That's
also something we are definitely looking into and working on.
Great. Yeah. Well, keep us posted as to your timeline for when you think that'll be available in the US market.
Will do.
You mentioned the outdoor element of the R290 equipment. Are there any components that would be indoors where the current 150 charge limit would impact this technology, or is it all outdoors?
So this concept is based on outdoor placement just because of the 150 gram charge limit. When we did our first pilots pre R290 heat pump availability with the 410, of course, we had the heat pumps inside. It's outside just because of the requirement. As the concept I presented today, there is nothing that is in violation with the 150 gram. There's no all the refrigerant, all R290 is outside. It's basically just the brine circulation, right? And we use CO2 for the low temp, which is also can be placed, you know, depending on how big the LT part section of this is.
Okay, great. Thank you for that. Can you talk a little bit about the energy efficiency across different environments, different ambient temperatures? Do you see changes across different climate zones?
We do. We definitely see that the most efficient stores we have installed right now is in the area of, let's say, northern part of Germany, or the northerliest second part of Germany. The more south we come, the warmer it's inside, the less you can use the heat, the less the energy savings are. But we are surprised to see energy savings all over in our installations. So it all depends on where you are. We are also developing concepts to put this more into even warmer climates areas. But so far those are pilots and under development. As I said, this is a concept where we can use, and we use a lot of partner products. We have our own products, but we also use a lot of partner products. For example, like Rivacold.
Great, thanks. In your experience so far in the installations that you're doing in Europe, what are you seeing in terms of the need to prepare the service workforce for this technology? Are you offering any sort of training to support installations? What are you seeing over there?
Yeah, so we do turnkey in Europe. It's basically, so we supply and we do the whole life cycle management of the installation. So we do provide training. We have a combination where we offer training to our partners and we certify them as Viessmann partners and our own service technicians. All depends in the country, how we have done it in the country where we are. We do see that servicing the heat pump is easy. It doesn't really leak. There's I don't think we had any leakage problems with the R290 the heat pumps, because it's a closed circuit. The service really has gone down to one or the other. In the beginning we had circulation pump problems. Now that's solved. So the service requirements are low. It's really more or less optimization of the system. When you put new stuff in, how you put that into the controller, how you put that in and optimize that. That's really where we need to train our technicians and our service providers. So we do a lot of training on that area.
Yeah, we see that a lot on the need for the controls training. I think Tommaso touched on that too. My last question for you in our last minute here is just, we appreciate you talking about this technology as you're working on bringing it into the US. If there was one key takeaway that you would leave with the audience today, what would it be?
One key takeaway. What I really wanted, the key takeaway is that you want to see there are more options out there than CO2 direct expansion when you want to go into natural refrigerants. There is really good systems out there. We are one of them that are optimized for stores that are actually better than CO2 direct expansion systems in some cases. That's just awareness that there is more than one option. I feel like we do focus more or less only on CO2 DX in a lot of the sessions, which I understand it has going to have a great importance and will in the market here, but there are other options as well.
That is a great key takeaway. I think Mike from Kroger had a similar message in the distributed and self-contained session earlier this week, that retailers need options, right? There is no one single option that's going to work for everyone. So Tommaso, Jørn, really appreciate you both presenting on some of those options today. I'm sure if folks have questions, more questions for Tommaso and Jørn, feel free to contact them in their sponsor booths, or I'm sure that they're happy to contact directly. So thanks again so much for taking the time to share this information, and thank you again to the folks on the line for joining us today.